Hey girl, hey. Today I'm going to be doing my February wrap up. So far in the month, it's currently the 26th or the 27th. The 27th, so I still have 2 days left of the month, so I could possibly finish more books. I'm planning on it. So to start off, let's talk about the 4 full novels I read this month. The first book that I read this month is The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, and this book is about basically humans and how we come to be as people, and basically how our brains are wired from a young age by our parents and the people around us, and how if we change the things we believe and agree to in our lives and in our mental states, our lives can improve immensely. And it's basically just like a spiritual book about the world, the universe, and all of that good stuff. I really enjoyed it. His writing style was kind of hard to get used to, and for such a short book, I didn't ever actually really get used to it because he just continuously like repeats himself, like, and not even just like the same topic over and over again like Tony Robbins does to really like drill it in your head. He more like just repeats the exact same word like multiple times in one sentence, multiple times in one paragraph, and it's just like distracting to me. But overall, I liked the message. I liked the 4 Agreements premise and the whole idea of it. I thought it was really well executed and really well done. But overall, I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. No, sorry, I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars, and I finished this, I think, on the 1st of February. The next book that I read this month is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. This is actually a reread, and it's funny, I read this book for the first time in high school, I believe, like the summer before going into high school, so it's been a minute, you know, it's been like 8 years, if not no, like 8 years basically since I've read this for the first time. So I forgot a lot of what happened in this book, and just like the reminder of the story, I remembered why I enjoyed it so much. I was really going into it like expecting to be like, it wasn't as good as the first time I read it, the movies were better, I don't know. I was just scared about rereading these books, so I never did, but I'm glad I did because it was really good and I really, really enjoyed it. I have tons of marks in it. But basically, if you don't know, this is a dystopian young adult novel, and that's part of a trilogy. The author is coming out this year on my birthday, actually, May 19th. With a new prequel to the whole trilogy called The Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes, I believe, and it's all about President Snow, which is like the bad guy in all of the novels. But basically, this is a dystopian YA novel series about a young girl who is in this society where humans are separated into districts in this community or in this world, and there are 12 districts. There used to be a 13th one, but they tried to rally against the capital, which is like the overarching like dictators. They are the ones that are in charge. They're the ones that have all of the money, all that kind of stuff. And then the further away you get from the capital, so District 1 is the wealthiest, and District 12, where our main character Katniss Everdeen is from, is the poorest. And it's basically just about every single year, all of the kids from 12 and up gets entered into the Hunger Games drawing, and whoever is picked has to fight to the death until there's one victor standing. And it's basically about her and her partner from the district, Peeta, who is the boy whose name got drawn. It's about them training, preparing for these Hunger Games, all of the political publicity things that they have to go through, and then the actual games itself where they're fighting against all of the other nominees, all the other tributes from the other districts. And it's just a really, really interesting story, and I genuinely love it. And it's a very popular movie series also, with Jennifer Lawrence is Katniss Everdeen, the main character. So, highly recommend the books and highly recommend the movies. This is a reread, loved it, gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Then the next 2 books I read were actually short stories, part of the Lunar Chronicles. So I read Glitches, which is about Cinder, who is the main character in the first book, entitled Cinder, which she's a cyborg in this dystopian world, science fiction-y world, who is a cyborg and becomes friends with the Prince of New Beijing, which is the Eastern Commonwealth prince. And basically, it's about how she came to live with her adoptive family and all that stuff. It's basically the day she was brought to her new home as a cyborg and as Cinder herself. She doesn't really know anything before that day, but it was just about the first day, her meeting her stepsisters, her meeting her stepmom, her meeting her stepdad, and like all that kind of stuff. So it was really interesting. I mean, I really wanted more from it. It was kind of just her showing up, talking to them, and then it was over. So I only gave it a 4 out of 5 stars because I felt like there could have been more things added to it, but overall it was a good story. I enjoyed learning about her and seeing her on the very first day, but it could have been a little bit better. Then the second short story I read was The Queen's Army, which is a backstory to the character Wolf, who is a genetically modified soldier for the Lunar Queen in the Lunar Chronicles. And basically these are the people who are trained to just go out and kill as many Earthens as they can. But he is obviously a character on the good side. He's trying to fight against these ways that are like programmed into his brain. So it was just interesting to see him being basically recruited into the army. It was interesting, but again, I wish I like saw more of it. I really thought there was going to be more to the story, but overall I thought it was like a good backstory for Wolf in general, so I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars as well. Then I read Cress by Marissa Meyer, which is the 3rd book in the Lunar Chronicles, and this is the largest book in the series so far, and it was the best book in the series so far. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. It was amazing. This book is all about Cress, who we see in the very first novel, but it's about all of the characters, obviously. It's a continuation from Scarlet, but we see more of Cress now, who was the programmer, coder, who was on a satellite in space. She is lunar born, and she was basically held captive on this satellite. And it's just about her story intertwining with the main characters and all of that good stuff, them interjecting with all of the things that are going down between the lunar people and the earthen people and the Eastern Commonwealth and Prince Kai and all of that good stuff. So we see all of the main characters, we get introduced to more main characters, and this was just the most action-packed, most well-rounded, most engaging book out of the story so far, and I really enjoyed it. 5 out of 5 stars. Excited to read Winter next. Then the last book that I finished yesterday, I believe, is Becoming the Boss by Lindsay Palick. And basically this is a business book about young millennials becoming the boss in whatever area of work they're working in. So whether you are gunning for a promotion at work, whether you want to be the CEO of your company, whether you want to start a company, being an entrepreneur, whatever it is that you want, this is just an empowering business book for young millennials navigating through working above baby boomers, being in charge of all different kinds of people, having to work locally and also over the internet, having to delegate through social media, having to send emails and figuring out when it's proper to send an email, have a phone call, or just do an instant message type deal. There's just a lot of like everyday common things that millennial leaders have to deal with, and how it's just advice on how to navigate it properly and the most professional way you can. There's a lot of examples in here. There's a lot of, like, the very first chapter is just links to other business books that she recommends and that she thinks are important for business people to read, and summaries of them, which I thought was really interesting. So overall, I really enjoyed this book. I felt like every day I learned something new. I have so many sticky tabs in it. There's actually things about my current promotion that I have that I didn't understand at all, that she actually explained to me better than like any of my company would have. Like, there's no book for my position that's like, here are all of the definitions for these random acronyms that don't really make any sense. I just feel like this really helped me become more confident in my position, and it gave me tools that I could use every day when performing my tasks that I have to do as a manager. And I genuinely enjoyed it, and I really want to like message Lindsay Palick and be like, thank you, I appreciate your help. So I definitely recommend this book. I'm not really sure where you can get it because I got it at Goodwill, and I think she is actually from my state. I'm not really sure, but I really enjoyed it, and I am excited to read more business books. My Instagram is always linked below. Both of my Instagrams, my Bookstagram and my Bookmark Instagram, are linked down below. My Goodreads is always there too if you want to follow me there. Also, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm. It gets me into more people's vision on YouTube. And subscribe if you want more videos about books and book hauls and self-help books and all that good stuff. I'm excited to be here. I'm having a lot of fun, and thank you so much for watching.